As you would have guessed in the title of this video, we're looking at spelling mistakes and typos today. Is it an instant rejection? You've realised that in your application that you sent off last week for your absolute dream job in publishing, you spelt a word wrong. Is it actually going to matter when it comes to it? I have asked hiring managers exactly that. Do spelling mistakes matter? And here is what they said. I am literally going to read out word for word what some of these hiring managers said. For the sake of confidentiality, all that jazz, I'm not going to say their names, but I'm going to tell you what their role is in the publishing industry. So the first one here is an editorial director. Remember, these are hiring managers, so these are the people that will literally be looking at your application. So this editorial director said that you need to proofread. Mistakes happen, and he doesn't think that he would throw away an application out for a single typo, but multiple errors would probably be disqualifying, especially in a competitive situation where we have lots of well-qualified applicants. And of course, one single spelling mistake doesn't mean you're not qualified, but obviously what this person is saying is that, you know, mistakes do happen. One you might get away with, but any more than that, you just need to proofread. The next hiring manager is a sales manager. So if you want to work in sales, make sure you listen to this. This person says spelling mistakes aren't an instant rejection, but definitely use spell checks a few times before you hit send to avoid them if you can. And I think that's really wise advice. Just if the spell checks are there, use them. The next thing was from a senior commissioning editor. This person said spelling mistakes aren't great, especially for editorial roles where the criteria is things like excellent attention to detail. But I'm much more sympathetic to it than other people who I know will instantly reject. We had over 600 people apply for a recent role, so you're looking at reasons to reject people because there are so many people and so many qualified people. So there you go, as he's saying, obviously people are completely different, but when you've got hundreds of people applying for the same role, you don't want to be disqualified just for that one single typo if you can prevent it. The next person is another editorial director. This person says you've got to make sure that you spell check your letter and your CV. So even if your spelling isn't great, obviously we know there are some people out there that struggle with spelling, various reasons such as dyslexia, but this person says there shouldn't be any issues with incorrect spelling. As a publisher, it's really important that grammar is used correctly, including punctuation, etc. So do check online if you're not sure of anything. They go on to say, you know, spelling mistakes are not a good start, particularly for an editorial role. Even if an applicant is dyslexic, there is software readily available to check spelling. I would probably regard a letter writer who sends in an application with spelling mistakes as careless and lacking attention to detail, which doesn't bode well or necessarily show them in the best light. And that is exactly it. That might not be what you're all about. You might have just given the wrong impression. Remember, these people don't know you, so you need to make the perfect impression when you're applying for these publishing roles. They said even for non-editorial roles, I'd argue that an applicant needs to demonstrate they understand what makes writing work, what writing is good, and this is most easily done by ensuring that the letter and the CV doesn't contain typos or spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. This person says we get so many applications, hundreds, for an editorial assistant role, so if they come across one that's sloppy with mistakes and typos throughout, they would probably put it to the bottom of a big pile. A good, neat, error-free letter also demonstrates that a good eye for detail that applicants are always saying they have. It's better to demonstrate that than just simply saying I have a good eye for detail. Now we're moving on to a different department in publishing, and that's the design department. This hiring manager is a design manager, and this person said I might overlook an odd typo, but is there really any excuse for it with spell checkers? The next one is a head of department. This person said you need to run a spell check on your documents, check if it looks okay, formatting, etc., and then read everything through again before you send it, and then read it through again. If you're emailing, do the same with your email intro. We're kind of getting along the same lines here. And then finally, this was a production manager. This person said if the vacancy is for a production or editorial role, then spelling mistakes, typos, or bad punctuation could all mean that somebody doesn't end up in the yes pile. If the application looks like it's prepared with care and had some time spent on it, then it will be viewed more favourably in general. And just for a true story here, to make sure you guys are checking your spelling mistakes, this production manager said, for the record, in the past I've put applications in the no pile because of spelling mistakes and typos. So there you go. Okay, what the general gist of what all these hiring managers are saying are maybe one you might be able to get away with, but proofread it, check it. So I want to talk about, obviously, there are people that will make spelling mistakes. People do it all the time. If you're doing so many applications late at night, maybe you've got some sort of learning disability, whatever it is, there's something you can do about it. So how are we going to avoid them? So we've already said use a spell checker. When you're on, say, Microsoft Word, it should have it automatically downloaded. If you see that red squiggly line, it means you spelled it wrong. Check what the correct spelling is. If you have a dictionary, use that, but the more modern way of doing it is Google have to spell the word. I'd also really recommend Grammarly, downloading that. It's a free software and it will basically show you how you could reword your sentences if you've got any spelling mistakes, punctuation errors, anything like that. I would definitely recommend. And then finally, you don't have to be alone in this application process. Get someone to read over your application, your CV, your cover letter, whatever it is. Get them to read it over. If it's a friend, if it's a family, even if they know nothing about publishing, just get them to read it over, say, does this sound okay? Often I feel like when you've been staring at something and rereading it for so long, you just need a fresh pair of eyes looking at it. Let me know if those hiring managers were a little bit harsh. Is that what you expected? Do you think they're being lenient? Let me know down in the comment section below, and good luck with your applications.